Welcome to another episode of Art and Science. I am joined by none other than Spanish professional basketball player Usman Garuba, current Warriors player and NBA player, and I'm very much looking forward to have a great conversation with you today. Thanks for joining me.
Sure, absolutely. What's up?
How's it going? So your season's ended, but you're still in the U.S., right?
Yeah, Steve, you're in the U.S., yeah.
So what's going on when why would you elect to stay after your season in the U.S. I'm guessing you're in San Francisco still.
Yeah, it's something I used to do pretty much every off season. Stay here working out with the team. Almost all the players out here working out. All the coaches out here also. It's something I like to do after the season. Because during the season we don't have that much time. For work on your game. Work on some details. So it's a good time to work.
So how long are you staying?
I'm staying for let's say 6, 7 weeks. Just 6, 7 weeks more or less.
6, 7 weeks, and
Yeah.
then you head back to Spain to Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usman, you've had a really successful career as a youth player and even as a professional in the ACB and even EuroLeague. You started for Real Madrid for many games. You were showing great promise, and you elected to chase your dream towards the NBA. What made you want to take? When did you feel ready to take that step, and made you take that step finally?
I think, motivation. Well, I would say it was my motivation. Obviously, EuroLeague, Madrid, you know, the EuroLeague is a nice league. I think now it's getting it's getting more recognition from the people in the US. As we see these past years, the competition is getting better out there. But I think, and any player would like to, every player wants to be in the NBA. Maybe some of them not, but I would say 95% of the players want to be in the NBA. One of them, is something I always wanted to be part of, and it's amazing.
When did you feel ready?
When did I feel ready? I would say I feel ready during my last season in Madrid. I think there was like I went through all up and downs, but I think in the middle of the year, by the by mid March, April, I feel like, I can step up my game a little bit, and I feel that would be possible to me. Yeah, during that time, more or less.
So when you were in Madrid, which is one of the best clubs in Europe,
Yeah,
obviously you're also a Spanish EuroBasket champion, and you have plenty experience already playing against pros. You were able to play against pros when you were around the age of 16, I would
yeah,
guess, right?
yeah.
16, 17. That is a huge step. And what is what makes someone ready to play against pros at a young age, and what made you what gave you confidence that you could compete on that level?
And I don't remember a phrase that someone told me, but I would say just be you, just be
Mm.
you. That's the main key. I know for a lot of guys, the young guys, that they try to make a lot of different stuffs, special things, trying to prove a point. But at the end of the day, the main key and, the advice I give to, younger players every time is, just be you. You're there for a reason, just be you, and then everything will come eventually.
So in terms of physicality, let's talk physicality, because that is I mean, I could only imagine how tough it's got to be physically to play in the ACB and the EuroLeague.
Yeah.
What prepared you to play against that physicality? Do you think, because you're 6'8", you're strong, you're a built player basically, but you were only 16, 17 when you were able to face that, and then when you became 18, 19, you were able to compete on that level. How hard is it to compete physically, and how tough is it to guard someone on that level, or even run into someone?
It was easy to me because I would say my teammates helped me a lot. My teammates gave me a lot of advices that Tavares. Of course, playing with someone like Eddie Tavares will help you. That such a good defender will help you. But not only him. The whole team was a good defensive team. And I would say the main key is you can make a mistake, but don't make the same mistake twice. Like if a guy is a shooter, you got to close in my heart. Don't let him shoot. That's the main key. Don't make the same mistake twice. I think that was the good thing for me. I wasn't making the same mistake twice. I was making mistakes, of course, because I was pretty young. But once I made that mistake, I didn't. I was so focused on not doing it again. And yeah, I think that's the main key. For young guys, don't make mistakes. Be you, and make as less mistakes you can do.
What kind of mistakes would those be? Like, what is the typical mistakes that you see a young guy do?
I would say like you like forgetting a play, or be in the wrong position, or caught instead of stay spaced out. All those little things. That we never seen during the games while we're watching the TV. Being a young player is a little bit harder because you're nervous out there a little bit, and you can make those mistakes, but don't make it twice. That I would say those are the things that I was making mistakes, the most mistakes. And maybe coach was yelling at me a little bit, and then I was like, can we make this mistake again? Yeah, exactly.
I could only imagine. I could only imagine because you played under one of the best coaches in Europe, but there comes a lot of scrutiny playing for Madrid. Like if you mess up once, you won't only hear it from the coach, you'll hear it from the crowd. And there's so much pressure from every angle. It's a very prestigious club in that sense. And you managed to play 20 minutes, start over 20 games. What made you, what is the difference? What made you to be successful at that young age? Because I've only seen, I think, Luka was the last one we saw in that club at that age be able to stay on the floor that long and, get important minutes down the stretch,
Absolutely. I think it was like 2 or 3 things. First of all, I was a little bit lucky. I'm gonna be honest, a little bit lucky with some injuries and all that. Of course, injuries are part of the game. Some players on my position, like Trey Tompkins, Anthony Rado, they were injured. A lot at the beginning of the year, and I was able to take advantage of that opportunity. So one was lucky. 2, being in the right spot at the same time. Being in the right spot at the right time. That was something very important for me because, no, maybe if I was in another team that wasn't Madrid, maybe I wasn't able to get that opportunity. I think that place was amazing to me. Of course, being from there, being a Jew player from the Jew teams, it was amazing for me. Being able to be in the first team. So I would say like luck and being in the right place at the right time. That was the main key. That was thanks to that I was able to be successful a little bit there. So yeah.
What about playing, like if you go into details like on the floor?
Yeah.
Because your position when you play, you would play the 4 spot a lot of times.
Yeah.
And you would crash the boards, weak side defender, post defender. You would switch out. These things are probably very, very hard to do. But you were able to stay the course and obviously not make any mistakes, because if you do, you're not going to get playing time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what are the keys to being able to do that intelligently. Let's start on help as a help defender. What are you looking for? Like, when do you commit? When do you jump over in European settings? And we'll come to the NBA settings later.
You want me to talk about the European style or?
Yeah, European first, if you may.
Okay, I would say with the European style, it's how I play with the national team. For example, with table rules, or with when I used to play with Madrid, I was, the court is smaller a little bit, and you can have a little some advantage of that. I'm always trying to figure out if the roll man is gonna roll hard, or is gonna be like a short roll, because if it's short roll, there's no need to help that much, because I think the guy that is guarding the pick and roll, can get back to him, but if he's not showing up that much. But I would say if it's if the guy is dropping, I can read it a little bit. I don't think I need to overhelp out there. But if the guy is showing up or double teaming, I'm trying to be the low man out there, and be as high as I can, so that that pass is not straight up, because that can be an easy bucket if it's it's a big man, really really big man. And I'm trying to read all those things. I think saying it is a little bit harder than doing it.
Yeah, I could only imagine.
Yeah, because I think for some guys it's just we just happy, we just figure it out there. It's more like how to say intuitions, yeah. And I think it's really really hard, but it's all reading the game, watching the floor, watch where your man is, because that's gonna be an issue. Maybe your man is a shooter. That would be tricky. That would be tricky out there. Then I would say if my man is in the short roll, I gotta read it too, because from the short roll you can have a lot of advantage out there. So yeah, it's a little bit hard, but really maybe play with the man if the guy catch the ball in the short roll. Play with the man a little bit, make a decision. Yeah, depends on the player.
What about if you're playing? Let's say you're guarding the pick and roll, and your face and the big you're guarding is bigger than you.
Yeah.
Let's say you've triple switched, and now you got to guard another pick and roll or something like that. The big is bigger than you, and he's gonna roll to the basket. That is one of the hardest things to guard, I think. How do you commit? Because you're able to. I mean, I've seen some of your plays where you're able to still stand your ground and take on a bigger player. What are the keys to doing that, in your opinion?
I think it's just use the hands. Who gave me this advice? It was Felipe Reyes. Felipe Reyes gave me this advice because I remember one practice. I got to be honest. Trey Tonkins was killing me. He was killing me out there. So I was trying to use my hands a little bit more. Not trying to commit a foul, but use your hands a little bit. While you guarding while you guarding like this, use your other hand a little bit, and that would make the offensive player be a little bit concerned. Yeah, maybe he's trying to do something, maybe showing those hands. Maybe he's not gonna do that again, or I don't know. Especially if he's backing up. If he's backing up, I'm trying to do that every time. But I would say, yeah, use your hands quick, and not every time, because now it's a little bit harder. Everyone is flopping in the game, and yeah, use your hands.
What about if you're switching out on a quick guard or a playmaking guard, or a shooting a shooting point guard, or just a perimeter ball handler who likes to shoot a lot? What are you looking to do to stay on that switch?
On that switch with the guard, you said?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you're switching onto a guard, and the guard is a playmaker or a shooter or a quick player. What are you looking to do? Are you rather giving up the shot, or because it's harder to stay with someone that's quicker, but you're also quick? So are you playing to your strengths? What are your?
I think at a such level, it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that. It's hard to let someone shoot like that. I think I would just give a hand if the guy's on the shoulder, you know, and just give a hand, show a hand, and then guard him. Because I think for guys that are not shooters or guys that are not aggressive players, I think the easiest thing, you know, for them is just giving them space to operate. I think if you put them pressure, that would be harder. That would be hard, you know. Making be aggressive. I think that's the key, you know.
So you're breaking up a little bit, making it tough, making them make the tough plays. That's what initially you want to, you know, limit them to be super creative.
Yeah, because I remember guarding guards. You know, technically they're not shooters and all that, but you know, if you give them space, maybe you know they can drive into you and then create for others because you know, somebody might overhelp because maybe the guard got an easy layup if I'm not putting him pressure, not letting him like drive like nothing. So it's just a read. For me personally, maybe someone else can do it differently, but you know, I'm trying to guard everything above the 3-point line, and then you know, even though he's not a shooter, I would try to play. I'm trying to play in 1-on-1. You know, not making him shoot like he's not a shooter off. Yeah, let him shoot. Now I can do that. And at this level, you can do that. There's no way you can do that at this level.
I think if we try to transition over to guarding a guard in the NBA or in the NBA G League, what are the differences you experience? Obviously, there's more spacing. So how do you operate now?
That's hard. That's in the NBA. It's hard. It's harder to do that because we can help. We can overhelp with the low man out there, but the issue is that, you know, now with the 3-point line, you know, everyone shooting, there will be always someone open. And I think with my team, we Golden State Warriors, you know, we try to limit the points in the paint. We give up. We rather give up the 3-point shot instead of there. But I think the less you help is the better. Is the better now, because now, you know, from 1 through 5, everyone's shooting. So it's a little bit harder out there. You know, I think guarding in the NBA and then in the NBA G League, I think you got to be above the 3-point line no matter what. No matter if it's a shooter, no matter if it's not a shooter, you got to be above, or just play the game. You know, don't let someone shoot like that, because especially here at this level, anyone can make it. You know, contest, anyone. Yeah.
There, in my experience from watching, even in the G League, it feels like when you're playing the EuroLeague or in the ACB, you're playing more specialized roles. But in the NBA or in the NBA G League, it's like everyone's a scorer who become a specialized role. So everyone has the ability to score, basically almost everyone. Is that a correct assessment, do you think?
Exactly. I think, I think it's one thing with the G League. After playing there my first season and my third season, here in my third season also, the G League, I think it's an underrated league. You know, I think there's a lot of good players, you know, that potentially can contribute, you know, maybe in the future to EuroLeague, EuroCup teams, NBA teams. There's a lot of talent out there, like a lot. And I would say that, you know, it's hard because, you know, you're trying to have a role, you know. Maybe some guys in the EuroLeague, you know, the best players in the EuroLeague can play in the NBA for sure, but maybe they can have that role as a defender or as a specialist role, like 3-point shooter, just a 3-point shooter. You know, I think the transition of the league is going towards that way. You know, I've been a specialist in every position, like the defender or a lock threat or, you know, whatever. You know, I think that's the main key of the NBA right now, because I think scorers, we are 2 or 3 a team, two or three players team have any kind of score, things, I think so more or less. So, and they get in the drive, with the drive and all that, they can build the scores and all that. But I think how I can explain it, the things that no one wants to do, I think is the main key for G League players, defending, guarding, pick off full court, all that stuff, those are things that, let's say you don't show in the stats, those are things that that teams are very aware of while watching the G League.
I think that's really a good point you're making, because sometimes, I mean, your specialty as a player, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you play very well with other good players. You do you do the right things, the right read. You crash the boards. You play hard. You play very efficiently too, close to the basket. Now you're starting to shoot more, but rolling well and setting good screens. How valuable is that in the NBA? Because everyone usually is a good. I mean, you're not gonna become better at Steph at shooting, or you're not gonna you're not gonna become the scorer on the team if there's a James Harden there. But you could always do the little things like you're talking about. How much are they valuing those things, and what are they doing to make sure you're in tune with the good players, with the great players so you can feed off of them, basically?
You know what we do, especially here on practice on all that we young players, all of us, they're trying to make us read the game, like from short roll, they're trying to make us make a decision, like a quick decision, Of course, if it's slow, we can read it, but we're trying to make a quick decision. You say the big man is going to step up, or you got to throw a floater, or you got to throw the ball to the corner. We're trying to make quick decisions, and I think, especially here in Golden State, the way they've been playing for the last, how many, 9, 10 years more or less, yeah. It's about reading the game. You have all these shooters around and all that. You got to read the game well, because you got to be smart. As you said, if you said go scoring to Steph Curry, you might be open every time, or Klay Thompson, or all those guys, it might be open every time. So that's something really important. All those small details, especially here, that's what I realized. So, not by playing, because I didn't play much this year with Golden State, but analyzing the game, watching the game from outside, watching practice and all that. That's the main key. Reading the game well, be smart with the decisions, and play basketball. At the end of the day, it's just playing basketball. Be simple. It's like basketball, as they say, it's an ABC game. ABC game. You got to do those things, and then everything would be easy. Because you playing with good players, everything would be better for you.
Yeah, it should become easier, right? If you're playing with great players, they're demanding more space, or more attention. You're going to get more space, and you have perhaps more operating room, but you have to be quick because you're not the go-to initially, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the main key. That's the main key, especially here. I think good example, we always say, is Draymond Green. Draymond Green is the master of this. By reading the game, he reads the game so well every time. I remember with Houston, he was reading the game like when I was playing against him with Houston, he was treating like the game like a guard. He was the point guard of the team. Let's say like that. You double team Steph, then he can do anything from the short roll. If you realize, he always make the right decision.
Is that what they want you to? So because I think you could fit that position perfectly. You're a smart player. You set good screens. You're a good passer. You know how to play with great players. Do they want you to approximate some of his skills, to conduct the floor and almost act like a hub?
Yeah, I think that's the idea with me. That's one of my next steps. I think reading the game, reading the game, because I think you can have so much, you can take so much advantage from that, Uh, yeah, uh, yeah. I'm trying to translate my game to his game, and I think it's gonna be hard because it's not easy. It's not simple to do
Mm.
because I swear, I watching the game like make 10 assists in the first half, like quick ones, no, seems easy, but
It's not easy.
not easy, make the right reader beside, make lap to Kuminga, lap to Wiggins, or lap to Gary Payton. I don't know, it's not easy, and then pass to Steph, then hand off to Clay, then all that stuff seems easy, but it's just reading the game.
And calling off the screen or asking them to stop short, for them to shoot. He decides that mostly, I guess, because he's communicating. How
Yeah,
hard is it to communicate on that level as when you're in that position?
I think it's hard. It's hard because uh, you don't know if your man is gonna sleep or set screen. Of course, you gotta be physical, but it's not. It seems easy, but it's not easy. I think a team that is really hard to guard. They've been really hard to guard for these past years. Has been Oklahoma, OKC. They do those screen stuff so well. Rolling, uh, popping. The sleeping. They do those things so well. And I think the NBA is trending to that. Not only big man. Setting the screens. Guards also can take advantage for that. Or if you want to switch, if you want to switch to attack this guy technically, I think from 1 to 5 now in this NBA, you gotta set screens everybody.
Hmm.
That's something I realized also. I think in Europe they're not doing it as much. I think they start doing it right now a little bit. Not when they're playing like a traditional five, but
Yeah.
when they playing with a fake five, like four, more or less. Yeah,
I think what you're alluding to now,
yeah,
and if I'm getting it correctly, because you're talking about how much responsibility there is on the floor when you're trying to make a play or you're trying to just make a read. It feels like when watching the sport and from talking to you guys who actually play under these great coaches and in these great competitions, this great level of competition, basically coaches in Europe, obviously in your case it was Coach Lasso at Madrid and Real Madrid. They have a plan of execution where you're probably given more instructions and less freedom to operate. But in the NBA, you have to have a more uh, an ability to think more freely for yourself and react. And basically, they empower you more to make your own decision on the floor. Is that correct?
yeah. Fully agree with you. But if we think it well, by being in this league 3 years, I realized, that most of the teams, for not saying every team, at the end of the day, we all play the same place. We all play the same place, and you know, maybe we have like a couple plays, but the thing about those couple plays, after every play, we have like we can have like five options from that play. Maybe end of it, or pick and pop or pick and roll or whatever, or keep playing the play. Like we have a lot of options from that. And then and from my experience by watching ACB, still watching in ACB right now in the EuroLeague and all that. I think it's a little bit special. I mean, not every team, but mostly the top teams. I think so a little bit more. I can say restricted.
Yeah, they have a plan that they want.
Yeah.
They want you to execute they want you to get to one spot. They have one goal that they really want you to go to. So you have an instruction. You have an algorithm. Do this, do this, do this. If not, then do this. Whereas I guess you're just playing more in the NBA and you have more responsibility for calling your own, making your own reads, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And more freedom, there's freedom out there. So, I think that's a little bit of the difference of both leagues, I think EuroLeague is getting 100 times better than before. Crazy. What I think, not all the players have the freedom that, honestly, me talking, personally, by watching or by playing there, not all the players have the freedom they want to play. But it's known because, every player on the team got to have a different role. You can have the same role in this team and then expect to have the same role in the other team. It's different. Because at the end, coach is trying to win games. So
yes,
they were trying to find the best thing for the team. So you got to think that that's the honest thing.
And I guess that since you're playing way more games than NBA, there's more opportunities to correct mistakes by playing games. Whereas in Europe, you have a maximum 2 games a week usually. You don't go more than that. And I would guess that basically coaches in Europe are a little bit more controlling what they want. NBA is a little bit more free-flowing, but they put more responsibility on you as a player. And then you have to think the game. Sometimes coaches can think the game for you in Europe, I feel like. Whereas in the NBA, it looks like it's so free-flowing, and you got to be adapting well. And that's why the players are more empowered to make their own decisions as well.
Yeah, exactly. You just say it. Everything I was gonna say, you just say that.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the reality. That's the reality. Yeah.
So do you watch more film because of that, or how do you prepare the mental part?
The mental part of the game, like in which way, like watching.
Yeah, how do you prepare yourself mentally to play on that level where it's more fast paced and you have to think more yourself instead of following a guideline and a game plan?
We watch a lot of film. After every practice, we got the film of the practice. Even the simple stuff. We like why we know and know that. I'm trying to watch everything. After every game, I'm trying to watch how I did this, how I set the screen, how I did this wrong. Because I'm trying to correct my game as much as I can. I think the best way to be critical with yourself, not with a coach, it's by watching the film. Like after a bad game, after a good game, watching the film. Maybe you can have some corrections, by yourself. Oh, I should have done this. I should have stayed space. I should have been in the corner. I should have passed in the ball. Maybe he was wide open. You don't see that during the game. During the film. I think film is the most important thing, for a player. Think
that sounds like great advice. So film, and then I'm guessing you talk a lot with your teammates, your coaches. What are some of the tips you're getting from your teammates now, or your veterans while you're with the Warriors?
Keep it simple and read the game. I swear there is nothing.
It's the main theme of the just make reads, keep it simple. Yeah.
Keep it simple, yeah. Once you keep it simple, everything else we fall around, Like, I don't know. Like, if this guy is open, let's say we play like how to say, like an open action, like how to say, who used to play the Lithuania transition.
Yeah.
So there would be, I think that you can always take advantage of that, maybe with the handoff, maybe setting the screen after the screen, or with the short roll, or then can finish it, or maybe a lob. You can take advantage of that. Keep it simple, read the game. At the end of the day, you can do all the stuff you want. You can work out on what you want. You can do thousands of things, but at the end of the day, it's holding the ball in the hoop. Every game. That's it.
Yeah. It's I feel the more you get into it, it's a thinking man's sport or thinking person's sport. You got to think it but not overthink it. So it's always a balance, and analyzing it, and
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thinking, but no overthinking. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
it sounds so cliche sometimes too to say, but it really is that, and I think the more experience you get, the more security you get with your decision making as well. And obviously, since you're in a position where you're still trying to fight for your role, you're trying to evolve into the best player you can be, you haven't proven yourself, or you haven't, you haven't proven to everybody else what you can do yet. Because you know what you can do. You've done it in Spain, but you haven't, gotten to that level where you can do it on a consistent basis in the NBA. So you're basically working more towards a goal. What are the other factors in your life that you try to, manipulate to become better outside of the court? So because now in the court, while you're in the court, and after your practices, you're watching film, you're talking to your veterans, you're talking to your coaches. What do you do outside of it? Like, how do you put an emphasis on sleeping? Do you eat a certain way? What are the methods of success?
I would tell you. Think eating well, being a lot of young guys, would not like this, but eating well can make you make a lot of money. Like eating well, yeah. I'm gonna be honest, make you a lot of money. Like eating well, be disciplined, sleep well, all those little things, all those little things. Those are the hardest things. Those are the hardest things to do because at the end of the day, you can work out on yourself, you can work out in the gym, you can do all that stuff. But if what you do here, at home, resting when you have to rest, or do the little things, if you don't do the little things, that's gonna be hard for you. That's gonna be hard, and that can make you be a player to a C player, or be a C player to a player. That's the main key. Those little things.
So what does that mean for you? Like in terms of eating, what's your eating routine? What's your eating protocol? Do you get a guideline from your team, your nutritionist, or is it that you try to be reasonable? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm trying to. We got a guideline with the nutritionist. Yeah, I have like a plan with the nutritionist, and that has benefit me a lot. That I always trying to take advantage of those things. I'm always asking questions. Why I gotta eat this? Why you think I gotta do this? Or also in the weight room. Why I gotta do this? Why should I do this? Why? What's the point of doing this drill, or why I'm doing those kind of whatever, because all those are also little things, but those are things, you are doing in the workout, you like to do that. But I promise you, I always say, as I said before, sleeping, resting, those little things, having treatment, all those things, that can make you from a C player to an A player. So I think it's really, really important, And once you get older, and once you start getting older, you will realize that, And I think for us players, the sooner we realize all those little things, the better we be for you.
What reasons are you given in the NBA with the Warriors, or were you given with the Rockets versus what you got with Madrid? Because when I was staying with Melvin in Madrid, he told me about all the resources. You had the restaurant. They got food for you, and if you need, you can take some home and keep it, in your fridge. What resources do you have now, and what did you used to have? Because obviously Real Madrid is the top of the top, cream of the crop in terms of level in Europe. But is it different in the US with the NBA teams?
I think it's exactly the same thing. I think it's exactly the same thing. We can rest in the facility. Madrid, we can rest with the facility. I would say Madrid have like an NBA type facility. NBA type facility. So I think it's pretty much the same. You know, you can rest at the facility, grab some food, grab some breakfast before the practice, grab some food or lunch or for dinner also after the practice on both teams. I would say, I don't know about the other teams, of course. I don't know about Barcelona, Turkey teams, or you know, German teams or Italian teams. But you know, I think it's pretty much the same. I think that's really amazing. And you know, Madrid was top of the table. That I think he's pretty similar at the NBA level. Yeah.
So basically, you have there's I mean, if you need help with food or anything, there everything is served for you. There's no excuse not to follow their protocols and have the best of the best quality of foods and drinks and supplements, and because they give you everything you need. You just got to use it.
Yeah. You got everything you need. You can go to the facility 24 hours. You know, you want to go at night because you can't sleep and you want to shoot before a playoff game or whatever. You know, you can go over there. You know, so you know that's something to really value. You know, really valuable, because you know you got to take advantage for that, because you never know when it's gonna end. You never know when it's gonna end, and you know those are things, you know, you got to value. It's something amazing, you know.
I agree with you. It sounds amazing too.
Yeah.
I mean, what you said about, those things making the difference, because I like to resonate that way too.
Yeah.
Some players, they get re-energized by, doing other stuff, going out, having a drink, partying. But for players that are still trying to show what they can do, it's like you're trying to manipulate every variable at your hands. Okay, I'm still not there yet. What else can I do to level up? What can I do? What can I do? But the players that are already there, maybe they have some more breathing room and maybe they enjoy themselves more. But I still, the argument is, if they feel like they're too they're being too pressured, or it's becoming uncomfortable for them, maybe they don't perform as well because they like living their life. I still think that if you manipulate every variable, like you're saying, some people call it Mamba mentality. It doesn't have to be that way. You can still do it in a, responsible and balanced way. That way, you know that you've done everything in your power to be as good as you can be, right?
Yeah. I think, it doesn't have to be Mamba mentality for sure, but I think, those small things, as I said before, you can take advantage for it, because those, even though we see it as basic, it's an athlete, you gotta rest, you will rest. Those are the little things hard to do. What to do in your free time. That's hard to do, because I wish I could be on vacation right now, somewhere, but I'm here working out because I want to be a better me, So that's something I love. And I'm doing it for me and I myself, because I love the game and I love myself, and I'm trying to get better, every day. So I think it's so important. I think it's even more important than the stuff that we do in the court or in the weight room and all that. What you do outside of this. Taking care of yourself. You're using it. Are you I don't know, doing all the stuff you shouldn't do? I think is the key, because I said before, the sooner you realize that if you realize that when you're young, it would be better for you for the future. Because
how hard?
Once you turn a certain age, your body won't be the same. Your body won't be the same. You're not gonna wake up and dance. I will be all right. I will be like, so I will be right, and then I'm going straight to the facility. I'm gonna be all right, like nothing. Maybe some point you will be like, well, can't do this anymore, but it's late already. Instead, you start doing this at a young age, resting, taking care of yourself, eating proper food, that can take you to another level. Maybe not soon, but you never know when.
You never know when. You never know. It's you're stacking up multiple efforts it doesn't come, it's not a one breakthrough moment. It's basically
We always
small. Yeah.
yeah, we always everything comes once, but sometimes it's gotta be can take years. For
Yeah.
some people, it can take 10 years. For some people, it can take 5 years. For some people, it can be once.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You know, you know how it is.
What have you learned from playing in the G League more this season? Because you've had some really great performances there. You broke the rebounding record for the Warriors.
Mhm.
I, in my, from my experience, when you're playing in the G League, you're playing against a lot of guys that are very hungry to make it to the next level. Thus, I'm not gonna say it's selfish that players are selfish, and I don't want you to say that either. But players are thinking about their performances more than ever because they're trying to show up, right? How difficult is it to stay professional in that setting and play the right way?
You know what? You're all right. Players are not selfish like that, but at the end of the day, you gotta. We're all trying to make it out of the G League. No one
Hmm.
wants to stay in the G League. Some guys might go to the NBA, some guys might go to the EuroLeague, Euro Cup, ACB, Italian League, French League, whatever. So we are trying to prove a point. Hey, I should be here. But at the same time, you got to be smart and play the right way.
Hmm.
Because if you're playing selfish and not being yourself, you're not gonna do that on the next level, no matter where. You know. So I was having that issue, and that was a big issue for me. You know, hey, I want to have like 20 points, 15 rebounds, look good on the stats and all that. Hey, that's nice. Sure, that's nice on the stats. But for people evaluating the games and watching the games and realizing like, hey, this guy's not putting effort on the little things that he used to do, or or as we remember this guy, he don't play like that. Like I was having that issue,
Yeah.
you know.
They're looking at the effort of your screening. They're looking at the effort of your communication.
Sure.
They're looking for qualities that you can bring to the next level. They're not looking for you to out rebound the best rebounder in the league.
Yeah, 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 for sure. So that's something, but it's hard at the same time, Martin, because you wanna for some guys, they trying to use that league to take it to another level, and then you know go to Europe, make good money,
Mm.
or maybe not even NBA. Go to Europe, make good money over there, and that's something that can change their lives. So you got to understand that, even though but the thing I think I would say is got to be I'm not disagree with that because every player wants have their own personal goals.
Yep.
But think the key is to keep it 50-50,
Mm.
can be that. You can be aggressive. You can be not selfish. I would say aggressive instead of selfish.
Yeah, yeah. You're look for your own shot and stuff like that. Yeah.
Sure, you can do that, but at the same time, you got to think of the team. You got to respect everyone around because those are teammates. You got to respect your teammates and don't not only think for yourself. So it got to be a 50-50 at that level, and I think that when I realized that my game, I started elevating my game in the G League. No, I'm not talking
Mm.
about stat wise because I think you can put those stats in the G League and all that, but if you want to do the things that you're gonna do in the next level, you gotta be different. You gotta be like a 50-50. And then that's how I took it to another level in the G League. I think a little bit, start playing better a little bit out there. So because I wasn't thinking that selfish, I was thinking that's a little bit selfish at the beginning of the year, but all changed. So I got better at it, and then I started playing my best basketball out there. So at the end of the
Yeah, you
day,
turned up towards the end of the season.
yeah, basketball guys, if you do the right thing, everything else will come around. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, Usman, you're very wise for your young age. I mean, for the listeners, you're only 22 and you just turned 22.
yeah,
You have a lot of wisdom, and you mentioned Felipe Reyes that you learned a lot from him, one of your veterans in Madrid, and from playing with professionals from such a young age. I guess you become accustomed to what professionals are thinking like and what they're looking for and what they're expecting from you. So that it sounds like a great advantage to come in with, because I guess there's a huge learning process or translation process for many players when they come to perhaps the NBA or the EuroLeague.
Yeah.
But you've been around professionals for a long time, so you probably you know what they say. I mean, this is figure of speech, but a wise person learns from their own mistakes, but an intelligent person learns from other people's mistakes or their environments or their other people's experiences. So you can see and be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. I should do this instead. But instead of having to make that mistake yourself, so you're shortening the time of learning, basically, to take another step upwards. So it sounds like a very valuable situation to be in, to learn from professionals at a young age. What are the most important things they're talking about? Your veterans, the great players that you'll play with, from Gasol's to Facu to Draymond to Steph. What are there some themes of things they're saying that that go along with each other?
I think, man, I would say some. I think I probably said it before. Just be you. I think most of my vets, I've said just play basketball, be you. I think that's the most simple things to do, but at the same time, the hardest thing to do. Rudy Fernandez has told me those words many times. Think I'll remember if Pau Gasol tells me that exactly, but something like that. He told me something like that. So I think that's the main key. That's the most important thing.
Be you. Be you. Do the simple things. Do everything you can outside of the court to excel. Play professionally. Play with effort and passion, and respect your environment. Learn from your resources. Be mindful of the situation you're in. This is what you're saying, because you never know when it ends. You never know how long you have. I mean, basketball, usually it's an opportunity to play. It's an opportunity. It's a career opportunity, but it's not given. It's not like you can go to your office 9 to 5 and do low intensity emailing and stuff like that. Every opportunity you gotta be wired in to the maximum, basically.
Yeah, because we are blessed. We are blessed. We got to think that on the times we are blessed. We have the best hotels. We have the best facilities. We got everything. We got the best shoes. We got everything we want. Only thing we got to do is perform. So I think me personally, I think in a 15 years time or 20 years time, I don't know when I'm gonna retire. I'm not thinking about that.
But you're 22, yeah.
So I'm not thinking about that anytime soon. We'll never know. No, I'm joking. Yeah, but I think it's something we gotta value, because once we retire, we're not getting those experience again. Those little experience, all those nice treatment. All those medical facilities, all those things are going to be gone.
So you're not going to get to compete on that level.
You're not going to compete on that level. Everything won't be the same. So, man, I always say, I was talking with my family, with my brother. I'm like, I'm blessed. I'm having my best life. I'm competing for my own goals, and those are the goals that every player wants to be. So I think it's important to value that. It's important to value that, because it's a blessing. It's a blessing, man.
They turned your contract into a regular team roster contract. Is that the same thing for the next season?
We don't know yet. It's gonna be an interesting song. Let's see how the summer goes. There's good talks, of course, but we're still in May. Anything will happen. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes, how the free agency goes. But it's still early. Till the end of the till the end of June, I'm still a Warriors player. So I'm excited to be here still.
Yeah. When you stay out in the U.S., obviously, did you bring any of your family with you to live with you, or have you been staying alone?
I've been staying alone. My girlfriend been coming back and forth. My brother sometimes call. My mom has been calling a little bit. But yeah, I've been staying alone. And I think I want to say something about staying alone. I learned a lot of things because when I was in Madrid, I was with my family the whole time. Hometown kid. With the team. But by staying alone, I realized how hard it was for American players, or not only American players, foreign players being in different country, different environment. I mean, not I know the language and all that, but
But away from home.
away from home, it's kind of hard at the beginning. Then you love it, and then you get used to it, you like being alone. But it's kind of hard at the beginning, and I think for a lot of let's say overseas players, that outside away from home, I get the point. At the beginning I was like, they're living well, they're getting a good salary or whatever, they're living nice, but it's hard. It's hard at the end of the day. You're away from your people, you're away from your family. It's different. So yeah, that make me respect them more now. I realize it later.
Mm.
So yeah, that's something I learned from, because I wasn't thinking about it when I was there.
Yeah, I could only imagine. I mean, obviously you can approximate what it's like, and you're like, but even though they're alone, they're still making good money. But when you're having a bad day, or even you're being happy and you want to call your family, but it's a 9-hour time difference, so you can't call them, so you gotta wait, or you can't call your friends to share the good news, or talk about the bad news, or
That's true.
you gotta wait, you gotta think about it yourself.
Yeah. Time difference, true. Yeah, and it's hard. Well, that's life. That's what we choose. That's why we professional basketball players. But at the same time, it's hard. Think. It's a hard thing to do. We get used to it. But I think, for me personally, I respect all the players that are away from home and doing this, because this is not easy. It's not an easy job. All the pressure we have. We're trying to perform well. We're trying to do the best thing for the team as possible. We're trying to win rings, championships. Teams trying to be teams not trying to be relegated. That's hard also for a lot of overseas players, and it's hard, man. It's hard.
And imagine, foreign players in the NBA. There's no rule against how many foreigners you can have, but in Spain, you gotta have 4 Spanish players. You gotta have a certain amount of European players, or maximum amount of American players, and I think it's like that in every league. So it comes with a lot of pressure being an American player or a foreign player in Europe, because you got to be one of the 3 or 4 best players all the time.
Yeah. You gotta be the best. You gotta come every day and eat. You gotta go every day, kill everybody out there. So I think this something I realized, because I don't want to say we view Americans in a different way when they come overseas to play, but we pretty much expect them to be the guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Not every team, but mostly all the team. Mostly all the team. And it's something hard for them, because maybe they never been on that level. Maybe they have that level, but they never been on that level. And
maybe their family isn't there, like you said.
Yeah. Or maybe they're trying to figure it out, but they be struggling at the beginning, and they have the pressure of them not continuing in the team. I get it. So, it's a little bit hard for them. So, I respect all of them. Every player that playing away from home, I have a lot of respect for them.
What do you think about what makes European players successful in the NBA? Because you look at someone like, obviously the obvious example is Luka. He's a generational player in general. Like, he's one of the best of all. He's going to be one of the best of all times. When he's done easily. Same thing with Nikola Jokic. But when you look at someone like Facu is absolutely incredible. Like when you watch him up close, his reads is something else. He thinks the game so well. He's incredible. But then he comes to the Nuggets, and when he played there, he couldn't showcase what he was really good at. I mean, he had some flashy passes now and then, but he couldn't showcase what he was good at the same level. But in Europe, he dominates. And in the same way, Mike James dominates in the EuroLeague, for Monaco and everything. But with the Nets, it was a little bit harder for him. But then there's other players who excel, like Kristaps, when he came from Sevilla, right? Yeah. So when he comes, it's easy for him to fit in and just play the right way. What is it that makes European players, in your opinion, successful in the NBA, and what is it that makes it hard for some European stars to play in the NBA?
Okay, I will be completely honest with you. I think for some players, some players have the opportunity to make mistakes. Of course, Luka is a generational player, and I think he's right now, personally, the best player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
It can be arguably.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
But I think Facundo Campazzo also is a great player. But I think a lot of players don't have, the how to say, the opportunities, the same opportunities. But, you got to earn those opportunities. It's not like, hey, we're going to give you this chance to 1,000 mistakes and then let's see how you figure it out. No, you got to earn those opportunities by working out, by practice, by doing it well in the limited minutes you have and all that. So you got to earn it. But I think for some guys like that have nice careers in the NBA, I think they have a lot of opportunities, but they've been generational players and they've been amazing. But it's all about the opportunity. I think every player is great. If you have, I would tell a lot of people, a lot of EuroLeague players could be playing in the NBA easily, but they don't have the right chance. Maybe they're not in the right spot, because there's a lot of players that need to be in the right spot at the right time. Maybe some players are 1 year or 2 years away from that, or 2 years, they were 2 years away from that. It's all about being in the right spot at the same time. I think that's the main key. Not only for Euro players, for every player, except the generational talents, that they would be great no matter what, no matter where.
Yeah, exactly. No matter where you put them, they're probably going to figure it out and play excellently.
Top 20 players in the league would be great no matter where they play.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, top 10, I would say top 40, because top 20, any player top 40 would be great no matter where.
Definitely.
I think I would say, for the rest of us, no worries. Rest of us would be a little bit harder, because I think we got to be in the right spot at the same time. Right.
Yeah. So we basically, players who haven't, and I'm not gonna say figure it out, but they know their role. They usually know what their role NBA team is looking for. But also, when an NBA team brings you over, I'm not sure they know your game. I'm not gonna say it like that, but then they're not sure if your game is gonna translate perfectly to their system. Like look at Micic. But he was one of the most incredible players when he was playing in Europe. I mean, he's ridiculously good. But then he came over. He ended up in a situation where he couldn't, competed with young guys and OKC and stuff like that. You don't get in a lot of minutes because maybe that's a rebuilding situation. They're focused on more young players. But if you put him in another situation where he could play with veterans from the beginning and stuff like that, or in a playoff franchise that are playing in the playoffs, maybe he would do better. I also think that some of these players, correct me if I'm wrong, no matter how good you are, if you don't play and you don't get those reps up, it might be hard to keep your confidence up.
Yeah. We're trying to replicate playing these games, practice guys that don't play and all that. But it's not playing the game, but you got to get confidence on that. That's why I always say after I play a game, I play a game. I'm not playing. I'm not complaining because you never know what's going to happen. You know, after I play 0 minutes in the game, you know, I'll just go to the weight room. Maybe I'll do some extra conditioning. Maybe I'll do some shooting. Maybe I'll do something, you know, to be ready no matter what. Maybe coach is not going to play you the whole year. You know, you never know. But you got to stay ready because you got that little chance. 10 minutes can get 15 minutes. 15 minutes can get 20 minutes. 20 can get 25. And you know, then we're going. Then we go all over the game. Maybe you're not playing the game. Then you gotta keep working. That's you gotta earn it. You know, nothing can be given, especially for us role players. You know, that's the reality of the situation. You know, so yeah, that's the main key. You know,
I found it interesting when I saw Dante Exum when he started out in the NBA. He wasn't a shooter, but then he went to Europe, and now he came back, and now he's shooting lights out with the Mavericks, and he's doing it incredibly. So I think it's like you're saying, you can learn so much from both settings. I feel like European players think the game very well overall because they've been, you know, I'm not going to say drilled, but they've been taught to think the game and operate the game after instructions over and over and over again, where you have to, you know, you have to think the game as the coach wants you to think the game. Whereas in the NBA, basically, you're gonna think the game, but then you gotta have game. You gotta have game, and you gotta have that ability to make a correct decision within the operating space you're given and the time space you're given. You can't hold the ball too long. You know, you have to alleviate pressure from your good players. You have to screen with the right angle. You have to run in transition as hard as you can. You have to avoid. Obviously, you can't guard as well because they're more inclined to call fouls in the NBA. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, you could be way more physical in the EuroLeague, I believe, and that's one of your strengths. So, especially you as a player. So, how do you adjust that? You know, how do you make sure that, okay, I got to translate this skill, but one of my best skills is playing physically because I'm a little bit undersized at my position. How do I make sure to not foul out while I'm playing in NBA? It's got to be tough, man.
Yeah, that's something I still struggle with because I was struggling with it. You have to play very physical, you know. Hey, sometimes sometimes I don't want to say you got to give the point straight up. Well, you know, you got to be smart. You know, I think it's just control yourself. You know, in the NBA. You can use your hands that much compared with the EuroLeague. You know, EuroLeague you can use your hands a little bit more, and that make it harder. And then they don't call it as much. So I think you just gotta figure it out. You know, I think know the contacts and all that. You know, I think in the NBA, you know, I think once you put a hand on somebody and then try on, you know, take a shot, then we call it straight up. Because even though it's a foul, you know, in the EuroLeague, they don't call that every time.
Yeah.
They can call it sometimes. They can do it sometimes, but not every time. So, yeah, it's hard because it's not easy, but, you know, it's already in the game, you know, be smart and know your guarding, you know, because I think the main key of the NBA, and once you spend some years in the league and all that, you know everybody already. You know how this guy play. You know how this guy play. You know what this guy.
It's still hard to stop.
It's still hard, of course.
And that's the hard part. Everybody knows what's coming.
What's coming? They will still gonna figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
Or you know what he's gonna do. He's gonna dance with you, and then you can shot it, and then you know, dance a little bit.
Yeah. He'll drop the shimmy on you.
But he's still doing it. It's hard. Those are the best players in the world. You know, it's hard. So yeah, you know your personnel is the main key. Know your personnel. Know what this guy strengths are, weaknesses are, and play the game. You know, be smart.
What do you think about I know you remember when Mirotic came back to Europe.
Yeah.
I think he had a large contract offer from the Bucks at that time, and he was playing with Giannis. He was playing in a good situation. If he would have stayed, he probably would have had a lot more money. But he said when he went back to obviously he went to Barcelona, back to Europe. He said that he wanted to play his game again because he knows how good he is, right? And how hard is it to stay? I'm guessing you can understand why he's thinking that. How hard is it to stay and keep pushing to excel on the NBA level or play well at the NBA level when you can go home and dominate at that position?
One thing about Mirotic, was playing amazing that year in Milwaukee in those playoffs. He was averaging like 15, 16 points a game.
It was great, man.
It was like playing amazing. I remember that year. He was playing amazing. And then once I saw that those news, I was like, wow. I didn't expect it at all. No, like Barcelona, he called me back to Europe. I don't know if he was going to come back to Madrid or Barcelona. I didn't expect him to call me back to Europe. I thought he was going to sign in the NBA because I think I saw that same day some news that he was going to sign with the Lakers, or I don't know which team he declined.
A lot of teams wanted him, probably. Yeah, for sure.
And then he signed for Barcelona. I was like, wow, this guy coming to Europe? God damn. I just saw him in the playoffs. Starting against Toronto. Yeah, I remember that. So I remember I was like, wow. Something was going on, but you gotta understand that, because at some point you're like, hey, I wanna be me. I wanna be me again. And anytime can come, start thinking that, because it's hard, man. It's hard. It's not for anybody. It's not for everybody. I think a lot of respect to Mirotic for doing that, coming back to Europe. That having that opportunity to stay in the league and make a lot of money, but he wanted to be himself, and I think that also brought the value of the EuroLeague a little bit higher, because people watching it from the US a little bit more, and now is another level. A lot of people watching EuroLeague from my team a little bit, and I think that transfer changed a little bit the EuroLeague landscape a little bit, let's say it like that.
And also, to me, I really respect a decision like that, because he left millions on the table to be himself. I mean, he's made a lot of money already, but it's not like he got a bad bag from Barcelona either. But he wanted to play the game the way he knows he can play it, and he missed being the star, I guess, which was really interesting. And I think he said something about, he didn't like playing with star players who didn't play as much of a team basketball, as much team basketball. It was really interesting, just the whole interview. But I really respect that he made a decision for himself and left money on the table. I wouldn't have. I'm going to be honest. That's generational wealth.
I don't blame.
So when things are going good, it's easy for, everyone to be happy for you and, stay connected and talk to you, and maybe your friends are connected. But, when you're trying to earn your spot more, do you notice that some people don't stay as connected with you anymore? Is that something that happens? Or are your friends really, where you have a good circle where your friends are still looking up, keeping in touch and seeing how you are doing and stuff like that?
It's a hard thing. My friends are very connected with me, what I do. No matter if they see me playing or not, or if I'm doing whatever, they are very connected and very positive with me, or still talking to me and all that. Not only my friends, but I see funny, for a lot of people, it's easy to be with you when everything goes well. The hard is still supporting you when everything goes wrong. I think it's normal, that's why you don't approach everybody as the same,
Yeah.
But me, for example, I will always say that me and my dad, we always talk about it, no matter what, he always trying to encourage me to be better, of everything. You know, after every game, no matter if I play 0 minutes with Golden State or if I play 30 minutes with Santa Cruz or I play a bad game with Santa Cruz, he's still talking to me. He's still calling me, and you know, those are the people, you know, I'm trying to listen to. So after that, you know, media, all those, you know, all those things, no matter if you do it well, because by the time you do it wrong, everything will turn around, you know, that you will be the bad one and whatever. So at the end of the day, you got to stick with the people that support you and you trust. That's the most important thing.
I agree with you. I think it's easy to be in someone's corner. I'm not gonna say easy, but it's easier to, you know, be in someone's corner when things are going good. But the ones you listen to, like you said, are the ones that stay consistent with you whatever time it is, if it's up or if it's down. And I think you build great relationships, but you also build someone you can talk to and ask for general feedback.
Yeah.
Do you still
always?
Does your brother still play?
Yeah, my brother's still playing.
So when you guys are talking about basketball, what do you guys talk? Or do you talk basketball with them? Exactly. For example,
we talk basketball a lot. Like, think apart from cars, we talk about basketball more. We talk about basketball a lot. Yeah, we always talk about started, you know, with my brother. We talk about so. And I'm not playing out. I swear, what should I do? Or I ask my advice also. Hey, what should I do? What should I think about? You know, what are my expectations? What should I think? Stuff like that. You know, even though it's something stupid. You know, you take it as a tip. You know, and then keep it, because who knows? You might use it. You know, you might use it. So, you know, those little things, you know, I'm very, very honest with my dad and my brother. You know, we always talk about it. My brother, after he asked about a game, you know, he always called me, hey, coach should pull me more, or this and that, or whatever, you know. I try to encourage him into, hey, keep working, do your stuff, you know, everything will come around. And as I always say, the basketball gods always come around. They all come around. You know, you just got to do the right stuff.
For sure. And you have the tournament this summer coming up.
The Olympics qualifiers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got it coming up. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Excited for it.
You're excited? When's training camp?
We start the 17th of June. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's always special to play for your national team, right? Isn't it?
It's always special, you know. Especially, you know, for me, player that don't usually play at home. You know, watching, you know, even in the friendly games and all that. You know, watching my friends, watching my family. You know, in the crowd. Watching me play is amazing, you know, because you don't get that. I don't have that opportunity as usual, you know. So it's something. Because the tournament is in Spain. It's in Spain, also in Valencia. So, you know,
yeah,
that's a great opportunity to see me and my family, see my family play. See myself play in front of my family, you know, and my people. You know, it's something amazing.
I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll be rooting for you, because we're not playing anymore. Sweden is not, and we'll be rooting for you for sure. Thank you so much for your valuable insight, Usman. I really appreciate it. It was great talking to you, and this is the first time we're talking over the phone and communicating. So you've been really great to the audience, and I think we're gonna take a lot of wisdom from this conversation for sure. It's and you keep working. You're doing really well, and I'm super impressed with your resilience and your mindset at such a young age, and your wisdom. For sure, it's impressive.
Thank you, bro.
And we'll stay in touch. All right, we'll talk more soon. But this was the episode with Usman, and we're done, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, sir.